Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ultimate Marvel Recap. Now, this isn't the Ultimate Marvel Recap. This is our Marvel Recap that we have dubbed Ultimate. Basically, what we do is we tell you about all of the comic books that came out last week in Marvel, and we put a rather large emphasis and focus on the important ones in the major overarching storylines, basically spoiling them for you, adding in some bad jokes, some really terrible hosts, and some fake advertising. It's an entire thing that we've developed that people seem to be enjoying, and I hope you guys do enjoy this. The whole point of this show is so that you know what's going on in Marvel comic books right now, so you can go out on New Comic Book Day, which is every Wednesday, and purchase the new books. That's enough of explaining the show. Let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be starting off with Venom number 5. Venom picks up with the fight between Scorpion and Lee and the symbiote. While Lee is battling against the Scorpion and not doing so well, the symbiote is currently reminiscing and fanboying about how he wishes he could be attached to a hero like Spider-Man once again. In the end, though, it doesn't seem to work out at all, as Lee ends up going to the feds to try and turn in information about Black Cat, but sadly, Black Cat actually has already hired the feds, so Lee is basically going to the enemy to try and rat out the person he's trying to fight against. So, of course, he has to make a run for it, but S.H.I.E.L.D. has another plan of their own and how they're going to stomp Lee in the new symbiote situation. They're going to send in their own symbiote expert, Eddie Brock. That's right, with issue 6, maybe we'll finally start enjoying Venom again.
The Shi'ar gods get biblical in the Mighty Thor number 17 by bringing back some old favorites in genocide, plagues, and tricking people into sacrificing their firstborn. While their intergalactic trolling is hilarious to them, Thor is less than impressed. And Thorfiets, or I guess I should say Thorfiets, any challenge involving human suffering. Enraged by the gods' entitlement, Thor unleashes an Asgardian can of whoop-ass on the super entitled beings. In the end, we actually discover that Loki was the one who entreated the gods to the challenge in the first place, antagonizing them and enraging them by bragging about Thor's might and letting them know that the universe essentially picked up the phone and said, "New god, who dis?" and chose Thor over them.
Over at Amazing Spider-Man number 25, it's a supersized, amazingly large issue in which Peter Parker, Aunt May, Harry, and other all go on a vacation to Hong Kong. You see, after the events of Clone Conspiracy, Peter Parker has finally realized that he cannot cope with the idea that Harry Osborn might be not Harry. I always get these two mixed up. You see, Norman is the father, Harry's the kid, they're both Green Goblin guys. Anyway, Norman Osborn is supposed to be dead, and Peter Parker can't deal with the fact that Norman Osborn may in fact be alive. As it turns out, Norman Osborn is alive, and Peter Parker finally discovers that this is in fact true. It turns out he's got a really good plastic surgeon and a series of massages from the House of Many Faces.
Envious of beauty, mystery, and the ability for shapeshifters to change their identities at will, at Ozzy's Cosmetology, you don't have to hold on to those sickening feelings of envy any longer. Because with our unfettered access to unmarked faces and body parts, you too can seamlessly look the way that you've always dreamed. Our patented process is done with minimal pain and with the best access to local anesthetics in the underground market. Tired of nosy S.H.I.E.L.D. agents or that bitch Deborah flaunting her new nose in front of your face? Then try Ozzy's Cosmetology, because in your new skin, you'll feel right at home.
In this issue, Red Hulk Hogan and Deadpool battle Victor Van Doom, no relation, and Godzilla, who's cosplaying as America. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate this comic Duke Nukem Forever.
God bless America.
Over at Miss Marvel number 16, we have an adventure in which Miss Marvel gets to be a superhero for once, battling against a troll. No, actually a real troll from World of Warcraft. It turns out a game developer got really bored one day and put too much AI into his troll, and the troll then broke out of the MMO into the real world, in which it has the ability to hack and take over actual people and devices. It's actually a really cool storyline. I've actually been enjoying it. Kamala Khan is one of my favorite superheroes. But anyway, Yeah, she's fighting against this troll, and that storyline is continuing in this issue. Speaking of computer bugs, do you have a problem with a virus in your computer right now? Well, don't worry. Oscorp has a virus be gone software. You can install this, and if you have a malicious MMO character that decided to become a sentient AI that is attacking you and possibly infecting your computers, Oscorp's little virus removal program is for you. Don't we all have to deal with sentient AI coming out of an MMO to battle against us?
Spider-Man number 14 does the time warp again and again and again and again and again as Miles and Gwen hop through space, time, and franchises? We end with Gwen and Miles getting separated, Gwen falling into a universe where she and Miles get married, and Miles actually finding his father.
Over in Sam Wilson number 20, we are continuing the storyline in which Sam really doesn't know what to do. He's torn between needing to be Captain America and what to do about the corrupt AmeriCops. On top of that, Rage, aka Elvin, is still in prison and now being transported over to the location where they put these superpowered meta individuals in prison. He's torn between all of this, and at the end of the issue, he puts down the shield. So what's gonna happen next? I don't know. I'm actually really curious. This is actually a really engaging storyline.
In this issue, we learn the tragedy of Hell's Kitchen's Robin Hood, Silver Bandit. Diamond Head is kidnapped and Peter Parker has to save him. All the while, we learn about the tragic circumstances of life as Silver Bandit. On that same note, and regardless of what you may have seen in the media, Oscorp is more than just grinning psychopaths in masks. It's also about giving back to the community. In alliance with Fisk Charities, Oscorp is looking to ensure that stories like those of the Silver Bandits become a rarity in our communities through well-funded health and education programs. Remember, the petty squabbles of the technologically mega-rich and the superpowered demigods are immaterial when those who need help aren't getting it. Oscorp, what has Spider-Man done for you lately?
In Guardians of the Galaxy number 18, Gamora's friend Angela is rescued and off to find her compatriot Sarah. She discovers Maxillin the Accuser, and the two engage in fierce battle. However, before its end, Angela receives troubling news from her battered opponent. Thanos is returning to Earth with friends.
Over in Monsters Unleashed number 5, the Hulk gets smashed, brother! Okay, I had to do my best to snap into a Slim Jim! Anyway,
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Anyway, the heroes and Kid Kaiju end up losing against Leviathan, but don't worry, Kid Kaiju, which if you're wondering who Kid Kaiju is, he's the new Inhuman that was brought in for this series, ends up using his own personal creations to battle against Leviathan because they haven't been summoned yet. Of course, the whole thing resolves nicely, and all of our tie-ins ended nicely, and Kid Kaiju ends up moving to an island away from everyone with his parents, which is very quickly overrun with monsters. But don't worry, they're good monsters because he's Kid Kaiju. This is an interesting character that I would like to see in the rest of the Marvel Universe, but I have a feeling we're not going to see him again.
Oh, really, Benny? Then what's this? What's this? Ongoing title? What's this?
And now we are on to the honorable mentions. These are the stories that either did not have anything super substantial happening in them, or any one of our three hosts is not following too tightly. So, moving on to the first one, Patsy Walker runs into her enemy and her ex in Hellcat number 16. Loose ends tie up nicely, and Patsy is able to move on from the loss of her friend, Jen, and gain a lot of missing closure so that she can become a hero yet again. The pharmaceutical arms race is on in Punisher 10, as Punisher slaughters his way through a harbor that's transporting an incredible deadly drug that could endanger the world. Over in Totally Awesome Hulk number 17, Hulk, Silk, and Miss Marvel fight an extraterrestrial threat, Falcon in space. I haven't read this one yet, and I hope I pronounced all that right, but that sounds amazing. I gotta get over to that one. Over in Uncanny Avengers number 21, the Red Skull enjoys a bitter dessert with a side of mind control while Wade buys time until he can get Magneto's helmet to Rogue, blocking the Red Skull's mind control. This is why Magneto had it, so that he could block the effects of Professor X's mind control, so why wouldn't they try to use that helmet against the Red Skull if he's using Professor X's mind? Anyway, Rogue quickly defeats the cowardly Nazi and finds a solution to the Red Skull problem without killing him: a lobotomy. In Uncanny X-Men number 19, Magneto is killed, and then brought back by Exodus and Elixir, but determines that it would be best for everyone to think that he's still dead so that he can go into hiding and do whatever evil villains who became good who go into hiding do. Daredevil number 18 has the Purple Children returning to seek Daredevil's help, but he finds himself lured right into the clutches and control of the Purple Man. I mean the Purple Man, not the Purple Guy. This is not FNAF. Black Panther World of Wakanda number 5 has Ayo and Anika's romance reaching an emotional conclusion in World of Wakanda number 5. Can you tell that I typically have to pronounce those names in public? Because I don't. Anyway, with the Black Panther absent, it's been up to the two of them to keep their nation safe and their relationship intact. And in this issue, we finally see the consequences of Anika's killing of Folemi's father when Folemi seeks vengeance upon an imprisoned and unarmed Anika. Thank you guys for joining us today for the Ultimate Marvel Recap. We'll eventually have a better name for this, but I don't see a need to rush it because Ultimate Marvel Universe isn't even around anymore, so not many people can be that confused. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this show, please let us know in the comments down below what you thought about each one of these issues that you did read and what you think about the show and how we can improve it. If you want to chat with me about that, you can follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian. Caitlin is over at That Sea Monster, and Rob is at Comics Explained. And don't forget, if you want to see the DC recap every Monday and the Marvel recap every Tuesday, subscribe to the channel, because this is a show that won't be going anywhere for a long time. And if you don't enjoy it, you could just not watch these episodes. That's perfectly fine. I'm okay with that. But I really appreciate you guys who do. Thank you so much.